feels very much like it's trying to be Romeo and Juliet, but comes out sounding like complete and utter nonsense that doesn't make any fucking sense. Hey guys, it's Mia here, and welcome back once again to a new book review video. Now, the book we are going to be talking about today is This Is How You Lose the Time War. Now, I literally just finished this and set up my recording to talk about it, and in all honesty, I think this time you don't have to worry about spoilers, and I'm going to get into more of why you don't have to worry about that a bit later in this, because it pertains to my thoughts on this book. So, with that being said, let's get into the characters of this book. So, the characters of this book are Red and Blue. And Red one day gets a letter from Blue because she's never made letters before, and they are agents in opposite sides of a time war. So, if that sounds interesting to you, let's get into my thoughts on this book. So, this book is very nonsensical. It feels very much like it's trying to be Romeo and Juliet, but comes out sounding like complete and utter nonsense that doesn't make any fucking sense. Now, you have Red and Blue, who are supposedly on opposite sides of this time war. They never explain the time war, they never explain what Red and Blue even are supposed to do. I think that Red's an android and Blue is a normal human, but again, everything is so vague that you're left like that one meme where all the mathematical equations are flashing off the screen. That was me trying to read this dumb book. Like, it felt like reading the ramblings of a madman that played like it was trying to be a classic where they spoke in like thou doth protest too much. It was nonsensical. And you can't even like the characters because they don't tell you enough about them. And with all this time war bullshit that's not properly explained, it just makes it even harder to like the characters because A, you don't know why they're even fighting the war in the first place. B, you don't know what Red and Blue's goals are. They seem to be the same, yet they seem not to be the same. This book makes no fucking sense. And I was really disappointed in it because it sounded like it was going to be so much fun and so good a read. And this was my first ever 2-star book. Because I did get through it, I didn't DNF it, because I was hoping the end of the book would help the book make that much more sense, but it just left me even more confused. Red is an agent of the agency, and Blue is an agent of the garden. So I'm like, I know that Red is like a cyborg-esque character, and I think Blue is human. Like, there is so much in this book where I was sitting there struggling to make sense of anything, both because of the way this author writes and the way the characters talk. Like, this author is pretentious, and they write this book, I don't know if it's a male or female, I think it's a male. He writes this book like he's trying to be the next Shakespeare, and it just doesn't work for me. Like, if you're gonna have a modern book set in all these different timelines and the characters speak modern, don't try to twist your tongue like you're in Shakespeare era where they talked like they had to make 10 sentences to say what one sentence could have. They never explain what Red and Blue are fighting for. They never explain why the war is happening in the first place, because it seems like, to me, Red and Blue are on the same side, and their agencies shouldn't be fighting. But I guess red unmakes what the garden tries to make. Like, the garden are the ones that create things, and then red's side is the one that destroys them. But then it talks about red creating stuff too, and as nonsensical as I'm explaining it, that is how this book feels. And he even mentions Romeo and Juliet, like this is supposed to be the next Romeo and Juliet. And instead of leaving this book happy I read it, I left it kind of disappointed and upset. I do not like this book at all. I think I'm going to donate it if I can get to the little library tomorrow, because I'm never reading this again. So that was How You Lose the Time War. This is probably my most negative book review ever, because it was just disappointing. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time, despite this being the most ranty book review I've ever done. Bye, guys.